They're saying it's now Trump-Biden. You will disagree with that because you will say it's Trump, but we are still not sure it's Biden, right?
Yeah, I could be desperately wrong about my prediction that Biden won't be on the ticket in November. But he's going downhill fast, my sources. And I can't quote them because they're anonymous and I don't do that. But what's coming out of the White House is that Joe Biden is having a lot of problem getting through the day. And that's why you haven't seen him this week very much. He's rehearsing for tomorrow night, the State of the Union, because if he can't get through that address, it's over. They'll have to take him off the ticket. If he fumbles, if he garbles, if he looks like he doesn't know where he is, it's over. That's how important it is for the Democratic Party tomorrow night. Now, the address itself is propaganda. It's all propaganda for all of them. Every president who's ever given an address is propaganda. So if you think you're going to get something out of it, you're not. But to watch Biden to see if he gets through, that's the drama.
This year's State of the Union speech. He'll say, look.
Look, 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 look.
He'll say, I mean it.
I mean it. I mean it.
He may even lean forward and whisper into the microphone.
The Wall Street Journal initially called my plan Bidenomics. I'm not sure they meant it in a totally complimentary way at the time. But guess what? It's working.
So why, given a growing economy and a strong labor market, isn't the country happy? What's ailing people?
The Fox News poll shows Mr. Trump winning 48% of Hispanics, 43% of suburban women, 51% of voters under 30, 28% of blacks. In other words, Trump cutting into the Biden Democratic vote big time.
I hate Donald Trump. I probably dislike Donald Trump more than Keith Olbermann does. That doesn't mean I'm going to lie to you and tell you that he's losing when he isn't. Every poll shows him up by 4 or 5, and the Democratic candidate has to win by 4 or 5 in order to win the Electoral College. Become a buffoon, really.
Right, and the numbers
saying that, oh yeah, no polling matters. There's no such thing as science when it comes to polling. The data sucks. Numbers are for losers. Emotion.
The latest Time poll, Trump's ahead by 5 points. A gaping advantage by a Republican nationally in a mainstream media poll. The most damning finding, 10% of Americans who voted for Biden in 2020 now say they're switching their votes to Trump. That means over 8 million Biden voters have become Trump voters, which would give Trump the popular vote. The first time a Republican's done that in 20 years. Half of Democrats don't even want Biden to be their nominee.
The results that are pretty damning for Biden in the general have been replicated in poll after poll after poll. At some point, you have to maybe accept reality. And that's part of the problem, Cenk. We have a growing group of people on both sides who just do not want to accept reality.
We've learned that it was a 9-0 decision ruling that Donald Trump can be on the ballot in Colorado and other states. So there were no dissents to this 9-0 decision.
They clearly look at SCOTUS as their last best chance to stop him and are starting to realize, actually, no, actually, they're not an ally. Watch.
If you were hoping that Donald Trump's authoritarian disregard for the rule of law was going to be stopped by Americans' institutions and the court at the highest level, that hope is severely diminished today. The Mueller investigation didn't stop him. 2 congressional impeachments did not stop him. Today is the starkest proof yet that in the zero-sum battle between MAGA and democracy, there was and is only one thing that could ever truly stop Donald Trump, and that is we the people. Americans voting against him, a majority.
You can see the little light bulbs too, right? Like,
yeah.
We know.
That's how this is supposed to work. If you don't want a guy to be president of the United States, you should vote for the other guy and go out and actually win. That's how this is supposed to operate.
Newsflash.
This is how our system works. Right? I mean, I thought this was obvious to everyone.
Press today collectively realized Americans would have to vote to save democracy. The Democrats will have to persuade voters instead of 9 judges. And they admitted this with a heavy heart.
It will be up to the American voters to save our democracy in November.
Yes, it means we got to beat them at the ballot box, and that may motivate our base.
You can't save a people from themselves.
If they're determined to reelect him after he organized that insurrection, arguably our first coup d'etat, then there's nothing to stop the people from doing that.
Larry's mad that nothing can stop Americans from voting. They're admitting they don't actually like the democracy that they say they need saving.
I don't think that Democrats even believe this threat to democracy narrative. They're just laying the groundwork so that the ends justify the means. So that Trump is so evil, he is so bad, so that anything is justifiable to try to take him down and stop him from becoming a president, even trying to remove him from the ballot, taking all these extreme measures. And it's very clear that Democrats want to be the ones that decide the outcome of this election, not voters. I mean, even since the Supreme Court decision, you had the Colorado Secretary of State lament that, now it's up to the voters to save the country. You've had Obama's former chief advisor, David Axelrod, said something similar. I mean, that's how elections work. It should be in the hands of voters, but they clearly want to deny Americans that right. And it just shows how power hungry they are, how power driven they are, that they're willing to do anything to try to stop Trump and keep power.